Hi, my name is Casey, and I've created a random dungeon generator. So I started off with just making some basic room prefabs, as you see here, with just different textures along the floor and along the walls, just to give the dungeon some different feels. Um, Something important of note here is what I did for the entrances. And so if you look here, I have the wall behind the door, but then I also have a different prefab or a different object for the door. And so that'll change depending on whether it connects to a different room or not. So as I used depth first search for this algorithm, if there's a room right next to it that it's supposed to be part of the path, I have a boolean that says use the door rather than the wall. So that's how that works. So what I've created thus far is this generator that lets you mess with the size of the dungeon that you want to create. And so it'll go in and randomly choose those wall prefabs or those room prefabs and randomly giving you a dungeon. And so if you want a bigger dungeon, I'll come over here and make it a 10 by 10 dungeon. Ooh. And I'll run that. And it'll go through and give you just a totally random array of these with a path that goes all the way through, starting down over here. As you can see the doorways from this view. And then along with this, I also have a way of setting bounds. So say for the first room, here I'll throw these values in here, and then I'll show you what this does. And this will give you more control just as you're building your dungeon, letting you do some unique, fun things with it. It'll let you pick your first room if you want to make sure your first room is a specific style or your last room. But yeah, so if you look here, kind of along this edge, it starts with just the same basic room, and then as you progress from the bottom left to the upper right, you get more, it kind of slowly transitions into this other style room. So that just gives you more control as you're creating these dungeons. So that's what I've done so far. The next goal that I'm in the process of doing right now is multiple floors. And so within the prefabs, I'll have to add a door on the top and the bottom. So I need to add like a ladder and a hole in the ground so that we can go from the first floor to the second floor. And I have that in the code, I just haven't put it into the rooms yet to make it fully functional. As you can see here. So this is kind of the side view that I'm talking about. So there's these rooms on the first floor with ladders going up to higher floors, and so the path will be three-dimensional rather than two-dimensional. And then the other thing I'm working on is, as you can see on this top-down view, these rooms are different shapes. And so right now all my rooms are just kind of the basic 1x1 square. And so having some prefabs that are different shapes and being able to randomly implement those while still having a specific path from the start to the end of the dungeon is the next thing that I'm going to be working on. And that is all. Thank you.